Hello friends, a warm welcome from Aussie's group. My name is Malcolm and I'm your PT coach. It's Friday again and I'm back with another live session on something related to PT, which is my domain, as many of you would know me since a very long time. Well, every week we come up with a live session, and today's live session mainly, like few of you might be aware and many of you might not be aware, that in the month of June, just like a couple of days back, PTE has updated the Academic Score Guideline. So there's been a slight change in the PTE guideline, but nothing to worry about, because obviously we have gone through the entire document a couple of times and there is no significant change in the guideline. Most of the things are as they used to be. In fact, even regarding the scoring, there is no change which has been mentioned by PT. It's almost the same what it was before. The only thing which has been updated is the sequence of questions in the reading module. Now, as we know, reading is the second part and the third module in the test. The first part is speaking and writing combined. As all of you would know, speaking has a total of 5 tasks and writing has a total of 2 tasks. So both of these have a combined timer of 77 to 93 minutes. And speaking has approximately around 35 to 42 questions, and writing is approximately either 3 or 4 questions. It's always fixed. And for combined for both of these, the total time is 77 to 93 minutes. Now, earlier what PT used to say is that you get 15 to 21 questions in reading and 5 tasks, and the total time would be 32 to 41 minutes. PT still says the same thing. But a major difference at the earlier score guide and now is that earlier it said that the 5 tasks in reading could come in any sequence. But now very clearly they have mentioned the sequence which will come in the real exam as well. So in a way, it's a good development, it's a good progression. Now we don't have to think like what will be the order of the questions, because obviously if you know that, then you know. And it's very easy. So now what PT says is that there will be 5 tasks. The first task in reading section is always now onward going to be the drop down blanks, which are called the reading and writing blanks. As per the PT score guide, the number of questions you'll be getting for this task are generally around 5 to 6. And remember that this task is an integrated task, which means you'll get scores for reading and writing both from this task. So that will be the first task in reading now onward. After that, the second task always is going to be multiple choice, choose multiple questions. And for this task, the number of questions you might expect are either 2 or 3. Minimum will be 2, maximum would be 3 as per the PT guideline. Task number 3, immediately after the multiple choice, multiple answer questions, will be reorder paragraphs. So this task deals with a bit of logic and linking skills. So this will be the third task in the reading section now onward. After that will be the 4th task, and the 4th task will always be the reading blanks, which are also popularly called the drag and drop blanks. So as per the PT score guide, you'll be getting 4 to 5 questions for the reading blanks, and for the previous task, which is reorder paragraphs, the number of questions would be 2 to 3. So that will be task number 4 and 5. And finally, the last task will always be multiple choice, choose single answer question type. That will be the last task in the reading section. So in which you get a passage and you need to select just one correct answer. So as per the PT score guide, which has been just updated few days back, this will be the sequence of the task. Except this, according to me, there is no significant change in the score guide. Even in listening, there are 8 tasks will be the same. And generally the sequence is also pretty much fixed for the 8 tasks in listening. So mainly just a sequence of reading section has been fixed. So that's about it. The other thing is that earlier also PT used to say that these questions or these 5 tasks in reading could come in any sequence, but most of the times it used to follow this sequence earlier as well, before updating the guideline. So as per me, it is good in a way that they have now made it fixed, because it was a bit of a suspense. Sometimes, the multiple choice questions could start reading, sometimes the fill in the blanks, but now it's a good thing. So that's a positive development. So cheers to PT for that. Now the other thing, like And I also got a comment from Ronak Patel. He's asking, hi sir, how are you? I'm fine, Ronak. Thanks for joining in the session. Hope you are well as well. Well, like many people I've been meeting, and also I'm a part of the Telegram group or PT tutorials group on Telegram. So many times people share a concern that the score which they get in pronunciation is unfortunately a very low score. And as we know that if the pronunciation score is a bit low, then obviously it does impact the scoring in the integrated tasks. Like to get a full score in speaking, 90 out of 90, maybe, just maybe I'm saying pronunciation may not be that important, but for reading and listening scores, the score of pronunciation is definitely important. So yeah, if you get a good score in pronunciation, it definitely helps you in getting a higher score in reading and listening. And yes, I've got a couple of comments from Johnny and Farooq. Farooq is asking that, can I please discuss my scorecard? Yeah, sure, you can definitely discuss your scorecard. And Ronak has also commented that yes, pronunciation is a major problem. You're right, Ronak. It's not a problem only for you. It's a problem for many test takers around the world. So I'll just try to make it a bit simpler, like what we should focus on to get a better score in pronunciation. And one thing which is pretty much sure is that since so many people get 90 out of 90 in pronunciation, it means first thing that it's achievable. It's not impossible, you know. Like unlike certain tests of English where, for example, you can never get a good score. PT is not a test like that. You can definitely get a full score. Many people get 90 out of 90 in everything. So yeah. Second thing, if pronunciation is a problem, then just now listen very carefully, all of you who are logged in on the session right now. Like what are the important things which will help you in getting a much better score in pronunciation? The first requirement is that obviously meaning is of pronunciation is the clarity of certain sounds which come out of our mouth. Now many times what happens is that people think that the accent which they speak is the pronunciation. No, it's not. Accent is also, yes, a way in which we speak, depending mainly on the region we come from, you know. But pronunciation is just mainly the sounds which come out of our mouth. So basically, if the sounds are not clear, then obviously the score goes down. Secondly, pronunciation should always be native-like. Now again, there's a difference in native-like pronunciation and native-like accents. So as I'm stressing again and again, just focus on, you know, not having an accent. And the best accent according to me is, you know, just being accent-free. So try to speak without any accent. It's very clear and the software definitely gives you a very good score. The other thing is that whenever you select your exam or whenever you book your exam, PT will always ask you one question at the beginning of your booking session, and that question will be, which is the language you speak? And there are many languages, obviously, like most of the world's popular languages are given in the options. Now obviously we should always select our mother tongue. Like many times I've seen people select English. Now there's a reason why PT asks this, so that it can, you know, maybe calibrate the software accordingly as per our choice of language. So if you speak Gujarati, please select Gujarati. Like I'm from Gujarat, I'm from Ahmedabad in India. So I always select Gujarati when I select the test. And if you're from, you know, whatever language you speak, Hindi, Punjabi, Urdu, Malayali, just select your language. If you're from Sri Lanka, select Sinhalese. So that would be the best bet in getting a high score in pronunciation. That is the first thing. And a lot of people have joined in the live session, so a lot of hellos are coming in. Rose is writing hello. Hello Rose, good to see you over here in the live session and good to see you in the classes always. And there are a couple of questions like Ronak is asking most important essays. Then Johnny Raj is asking how many keywords should SST have? And even Sai Kumar, who is a top fan. Thanks Sai for being a top fan. Appreciate it. Sai also has a question. Please suggest a good headset for the mock test. And even Kinza Abasi says hello. Hello to all of you. Well, first I'll answer Sai's question because this question is very relevant to what we're talking about, that's speaking. Now, in our center, that's in Aussie's group, even when I was in India, we were using Logitech headsets. Even here in Melbourne, Australia, for all our mock tests and with all the lab sessions, we always use Logitech headsets. Because, I mean, it doesn't matter. In the real exam, most of the times it's going to be a Plantronics headset. It's a company. It's called Plantronics. But I think they're a bit expensive and they're not that easily available sometimes, at least in Australia. You might have to ship them from US. So I think you can easily go for a Logitech headset. They are of a good quality and generally they are pretty accurate when it comes to sound cancellation. I mean noise cancellation I meant. So you can go with Logitech headphones. And Ronak is commenting, yes, even he's from Gujarat, so good to see you. Even I'm from Gujarat, thanks. Anyway, coming back to the main thing. Now to get a high score in pronunciation, the first thing, according to me, don't be too fast when you're speaking. Because many times people think that if they are too fast, that's what the software expects them to be. Now, partly it is right. Yes, you have to speak at a certain speed. But always remember that the speed should be the correct speed. If you are too slow or if you are too fast, then definitely the score goes down. And then obviously there's no point speaking so fast if you're not going to get the score which you're looking for. So please don't be too fast when you're speaking, otherwise the clarity definitely goes down. Okay? And if the clarity goes down, then the pronunciation goes down. And if pronunciation score goes down, then the reading and listening scores will go down. Very high chances, because the first task in speaking is read aloud. In read aloud, you'll read and speak at the same time. So if you're not clear with the pronunciation of the word, then obviously the software will not give you a good score, and obviously the reading score goes down. Similarly, the second task is repeat sentence. So I've seen many times people are so fast in repeat sentence because they just want to get rid of that sentence. As soon as they hear it, they want to just, blurt it out, because it's difficult to remember lengthy sentences. I understand that. But if you're too fast, then the software will not understand what you're saying. I hope it's very clear to you, all my dear students. So don't be too fast in read aloud. Don't be too fast in repeat sentence as well. Just speak naturally, just try to speak and repeat sentence exactly the same speed at which you hear the sentence. Well, Sandeep also has a comment that I appeared twice in PTE and got only 10 in pronunciation. What could be the problem? Well, very high chances there are a couple of problems. The first problem is that maybe the position of your mic, that itself is not correct. Like generally people sometimes keep it just right in front of their mouth. Now, if you keep it right in front of your mouth, then the air which you breathe, like this sound goes in and goes out, and obviously it won't be clear. So never keep it right in front of your mouth. That is not the right position to keep it. I would suggest always to keep the mic a bit below the mouth. So the ideal position would be, slightly below the lips and slightly above the chin. So between the lips and the chin would be the ideal position. Now, other very important thing which we should realize is that in the real exam, the headphones which you get generally have a very long mic handle. So the actual tip of the mic, it comes, somewhere around, there's a distance of around 4 fingers from the mouth. And according to me, this is, too far from the mouth. And again, you'll have to be too loud if you want to get a good score. So what I would recommend is that the good thing is that you can change the position of the tip of the mic. So kindly change it and get it a bit closer to your mouth. Not too close, don't like stick it just to your lips. Keep it like a bit close, around 2 fingers away. And hopefully, because the mic is closer to your mouth, as you can understand, it will catch more of your words, and that's why it's going to be more clear. So don't forget to, bring the mic closer to your mouth a bit. And yeah, one more thing. Before the test starts, we always get a chance to adjust the mic volume. All right, so before the test starts, there's a sentence which is written on the screen. It is mainly for the mic testing purpose. Now, just next to the sentence, there is a volume button. And that button is on the right hand side of the sentence. And that button is most of the times exactly in the center. So that's around 50% volume. Now, that might be too less sometimes for some of the test takers. So what I recommend is that always increase that volume to somewhere around 80. That volume button, which is just next to the mic testing button, before the test starts and before the introduction, it can be moved. So please increase it to around 80. I would recommend it to be at 80. That is the ideal volume, and with the software will pick up your voice very clearly. You will not have to shout if you increase it to 80. And if you bring it a bit closer, I think the problem should be sorted. So Sandeep, that is the answer to your question. Please check the mic volume before you start the test. Secondly, please increase the mic volume to around 80% before you start the test. And thirdly, just see if there is no actual disturbance, because sometimes there might be a faulty mic which you get. Yeah, it depends a bit on luck. Sometimes the system also might have issues. So it's better to check it a couple of times before you start the test, because if the mic doesn't work, then the whole point of the test is nullified, and the whole time is wasted and the money is wasted. So just check the mic a couple of times before you start the test. Now, the other thing which can really help to increase the score of pronunciation, the first thing, as I said, don't speak too fast, don't speak too slow, just speak clear. Second thing, never stress on words when you're speaking. Now, yes, the name of the test is PT Academic. And the thing is that many times people become too conscious, when they are speaking, especially in read aloud I've seen, people become so conscious as if they are trying to impress the software. So people try to do a lot of intonation. The voice goes up and down a lot. For example, it's a beautiful day to play the game of cricket today. People become like commentators of cricket when they just have to read a sentence on the screen. So the problem is that if native speakers speak with intonation, it sounds fine. But we are non-native test takers. I'm from India, and being an Indian, I cannot be called a native speaker of English. Generally, people from America, Australia, Britain and Canada, these are whom you would generally refer to as native speakers of English. They've been speaking English as their birth language right from the day they are born, or right from they know how to speak. So we should not try to copy the accent, neither should we try to copy the intonation. So I would suggest just try to speak without stressing on words. Try to focus always on clarity. The more smoother your voice, the better the score will be, because the better the clarity will be. That's why. Well, Ronak has a question. Is PT exam for Australia or New Zealand PR possible? Yes, definitely it is possible, Ronak. PT is very popular because Australia accepts it for permanent residency visas. So yes, if you're looking to migrate to Australia or New Zealand, PT is acceptable for PR only in these countries. Alright, so all the best for that. Well, Elders Joy has a question. Which Aussie center are you teaching at? So hi, thanks for asking that. I'm teaching at the Melbourne CBD Center. There are two centers in speaking where I teach. Both are in Melbourne CBD. CBD is a central business district, as you would already know. One is located on Collins Street and the other is located on Elizabeth Street. Both are just 2 meters, walkable distance from one another, just next to Flinders Station. It's a very convenient location, and that's why most of the people who work prefer the city center because it's very close, and the timings are also pretty convenient, 6 to 8 in the evening and 10 to 12 in the morning. So you can choose your time of your selection and you can definitely join it. Well, Ronak has another question. He has made me a migration agent today. He's asking, India to Australia, direct PR, is it possible or not? So now we are talking like a typical Gujarati. I appreciate that. Straight to the point. Yes, direct PR is possible, but you'll need to get at least 8 each in PT. If you have the relevant experience, then it will add to your points also. But yes, direct PR from India to Australia is possible. Even I am a direct PR from India to Australia. I got my PR and then moved to Australia. So yes, the answer to your question is yes, it is possible, very much possible. But you'll have to refer to the points system. So please start following Aussies Group. That's our main company, Aussies Group, AUSSIZZ, GROUP. We are a migration company and an education agency as well. So once you get onto that page, you'll know more about visas. All right. Well, Saurabh has another question. Are there any recent changes in the PT marking criteria? Well, fortunately, Saurabh, according to me, there are no changes. Everything is the same. As I said, in the reading section, PT has fixed the sequence of the 5 tasks. The first task will be drop down, fill in the blanks, which are reading and writing blanks. Second will be multiple choice, multiple answers. Third will be reorder paragraphs. Fourth will be reading blanks, which are the drag and drop blanks. And the 5th task will be multiple choice, choose single answer. So these 5 tasks will come in only this sequence. Except this, nothing has been changed in the PTE score guide. So you need not worry. Thank you. Well, Subi Manandar has a question. Is there any tips and tricks for reading, as I'm not getting the desired marks only on reading? Well, I would suggest you to reconsider your thinking and focus a bit more on read aloud in speaking. Because very, very high chances, in my opinion, maybe you're not reading aloud in the correct way. And I'm sure that you will be getting a very high score in speaking already. You would be getting maybe around between 85 to 90, that's my guess. But even with that, maybe you're not reading aloud in the correct way. And if you don't read aloud in the right way, you should not expect a good score in reading. So coming to tips and tricks for reading, yes, mainly focus on collocations and fill in the blanks, focus on the grammar, but the main thing is obviously the passage. The context is always the king. You respect the context, try to understand it, try to enjoy what you're reading. Automatically, the answers will come, right in front of your eyes. And generally, there are hints also in the passage. So try to focus on the hints and you should get what you're looking for. The other thing is, whenever it comes to blanks and reorders, I would recommend never hurry up, because fill in the blanks, and by blanks, I mean both the types of blanks, reading and writing and reading. That is drop down and drag and drop. Both are the most important contributors to the actual reading score, along with read aloud in speaking. And my doubt is that you're not performing well in read aloud, so please be a bit careful with read aloud. And the other thing you should focus is also on summarize written text. Even the sentences or the words which you choose from the passage are very important in getting a high score in reading. So just be careful about that. Thank you. Well, Kamal Bajwa has a question. Please suggest something to get 8 in listening. Well, if you're missing your 8 in listening, then I would suggest you to focus on, first thing, on being supremely accurate in repeat sentence. Try to copy the tone and obviously try to mimic the stress on the words. The way it is spoken in repeat sentence, try to say it in the same way at the same speed. And never ever pause in repeat sentence. And don't fumble and don't repeat the same words. Try to be as fluent as you can be in repeat sentence. That will definitely help you in getting a good score in listening. First. Second thing, even in retell lecture, in case you're following a template, just try to rethink how you're speaking. Maybe you're not taking the right pauses, or maybe you're speaking too fast and the software is not able to understand what you're saying, and that's why the listening score is not improving. So just focus a bit on retell lecture as well. Third thing, if your listening score is not improving, or if you want 8 in listening, then definitely you need to focus on answer short question. The last task in speaking, it's a very important task for the listening score. So please be very careful, and that will be very helpful in your listening score. The other thing is that for listening, you also need to focus on summarize spoken text. Summarize spoken text is a very, very important task which contributes to listening and writing both. So try not to make any mistakes in that task. If you're not sure about any word, I would suggest don't write that word. Just don't write that word. Even if you know the word but you're not sure of the spelling, don't write it. That's the best bet. Same thing in listening, fill in the blanks. Don't write a word when you're not sure. Just leave it. And thirdly, write from dictation, the last task of listening, super important task. So you need to be very careful with that. So just be careful with the main task of listening. One is repeat sentence, retell lecture, focus on the clarity, answer short questions, summarize spoken text, listening blanks, and write from dictation. Thank you. Well, Chandni has a comment. One of the best teachers in Australia. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Chandni. Really appreciate your comment. Well, I've got one more comment also from Joy. He's asking, like, in summarize spoken text, can we use a template? So the answer to your question is yes, you can use a template. Sorry for the delay in answering your question. Since I was talking about speaking, first I want to deal with speaking, then I wanted to move to other tasks. Yes, you can use a template in summarize spoken text, but be careful that you pick up the words correctly from the audio. And whichever template you're using, just see that you know how to use it correctly, because there are many templates available for summarize spoken text. But if you don't write it correctly, if you don't use the template correctly, then there's going to be a huge penalty on the score, and listening and writing both go down. So need to be a bit careful with a template. But yes, you can use a template. Thanks. Well, Cherry has a comment. Good evening, sir. So Cherry Singla, many congratulations to you. You've been like one of the top fans and one of the oldest contributors to the channel as well. And for those of you who don't know, Cherry, he just got his desired score of 8 each after a lot of attempts, a lot of struggle, but yeah, definitely worth it, because now he's got his desired score of 79 each. So many congratulations, Cherry. Hopefully I'll see you soon when you're in Melbourne, Australia. So good to know that you got your desired score. Many congratulations. Well, Krishna Sharma has a question. Sir, can we extend 476 visa? I'm really sorry, Krishna. I'm not an expert on the different types of visas. So for this query, I would request you to just inbox this comment on our Facebook page, which is called Aussies Group, and somebody will get back to you. All right, just write this same question and inbox it as a message on the Aussies Group default page. Thanks. Well, Mal Pereira has a question. Sir, I got less marks in listening, 63, reading is 71, speaking is 79, and writing is 76. I would like to know where I'm lacking. So very likely your major issue is with speaking, unfortunately, because it's 79 but it's not 90. And if you want a good score in reading and listening, you need to improve your speaking. Alright, so speaking should be 90 out of 90. It's not difficult. Maybe the thing is you're not speaking at the right speed, or you're not taking the right pauses. And maybe you're just speaking, or you're too slow with the speed. Or maybe you're not clear. Because when reading is a bit low, like you got like 70, chances are very high that speaking is an issue for you, and your listening is unfortunately very low. So one of the reasons is maybe you made a mistake in write from dictation. That is the last task in the listening section, and that needs to be pretty much accurate. If it's not accurate, then the listening and writing scores go down. Similarly, there could be an issue with your repeat sentence. There could be an issue with answer short questions in speaking. So focus more on speaking and listening, and hopefully things will be sorted out for you. For writing, your score is very good, it's 76. So just focus a bit more on write from dictation, as I said, because that is an integrated task and gives you marks for listening and writing both. And if you make mistakes there, then unfortunately nobody can save you in the test, and it's really difficult to get 8 each. So just be a bit careful with that task. Thank you. Well, Vishal Patel has a comment. Without any experience, is it possible for 189, 190 or 489? Well, obviously it depends, Vishal. What is your field? It depends on so many criteria, right? Like how many points have you got in PTE? Now let's say you get 8 each in PTE, you get 20 points towards your visa. Then the second thing is, how many points have you got for your education? Do you have an Australian education? If you have an Australian education, it helps you with 5 more points for your visa. Similarly, do you have work experience? But yes, you don't have work experience, so you get 0 for that. The other things is like your postgraduate degree or your PhD, if you have done something like that, which I doubt. Maybe you have not done that, so you cannot get marks for that or points for that. But yeah, you can get a visa without experience. Maybe you need to switch to a regional area, 489. And generally in July, I mean in the new financial year, there might be a few changes. I'm not like conjecturing, I'm just saying what has been happening over the years. Like for example, if you ask right now, the score, I mean the points for accounting are somewhere like 95 for the invite. It used to be like 65 few years back, I remember. So it's a bit difficult without experience, but yeah, there are other alternatives. So you can just visit a migration agent. Maybe Aussie's group is in the city where you live. So just go to them and you'll get a detailed analysis of where you stand and what could be your possible options. Thank you. Well, yes, you have written your master student of Australia, so you'll be getting points for that. Then there's also a thing called professional year. So I think you would be aware of that since you're already in Australia. If you're pursuing your professional year, you get 5 more points. Similarly, if you're doing NATI CCL in maybe Hindi, because that will be the language since you're from Gujarati, and Gujarati is not in the list of NATI. If you successfully clear NATI CCL Hindi, you'll get 5 extra points. So there are ways, but yeah, it's a bit tricky without experience, but yes, there are ways. Well, I've got a comment from Dinesh as well. Dinesh, I'm sorry, but your comment, I've lost your comment. So if you don't mind, can you just post your score again? I'll be more than happy to tell you what you need to focus on. Well, somebody's also asked me like, is it possible for intonation in repeat sentence? Prathipan is asking, and somebody else also asked like, what is your strategy? What is my strategy for repeat sentence? So my strategy is pretty simple. What I hear is what I'll say. Copy everything. Copy the speaker's speed, copy the speaker's tone, copy the intonation, copy everything. Whatever you can copy, just I'm going to copy it. You know, for example, I become like a mimicry artist. If I hear it like this, it's a beautiful day, but I don't know what to do, I'm going to say the same thing. Whether I understand it or not, I'm going to blurt out the same thing in the mind. It's a beautiful day, but I don't know what to do. You know, just copy everything because it's a software. That's what you need to do, fortunately or unfortunately. So that is my strategy in repeat sentence. And yes, Prathipan, yes, you have to copy the intonation. And again, remember, I'm not saying that. It is written in the PTE guideline, which means that the sentence is with stress. You will also have to say with stress if you're expecting a full score in listening. Thanks. Well, Vishal, thanks. Hope you got your required information. Thanks. Well, Sucheta has a comment. Listening 80, reading 77, writing 72, speaking 90. Well, so definitely you need to work on summarize written text. That is the first thing. Second thing you need to consider is your reading and writing drop down fill in the blanks. Very likely that you're making mistakes. So these are the 2 main tasks. Summarize written text, reading and writing fill in the blanks. Just focus on these 2 tasks. Hopefully you will see a jump in your reading and writing scores. Also, I would like you to be more careful with write from dictation. Maybe, I'm just saying maybe, you might be making a mistake with write from dictation as well. So be careful in that. Well, Dinesh has posted a score. Speaking 82, listening 65, writing 68. So you've got a problem mainly with listening and writing, Dinesh. And you really need to focus on summarize spoken text, listening fill in the blanks, write from dictation, and answer short questions. So just focus on these main areas. Again, I'll repeat for you, Dinesh. summarize spoken text, write from dictation, listening, fill in the blanks, and answer short question. And also try to copy the tone in repeat sentence. That would be very helpful for you. And you're very good in reading. You've got 77. You just need to get 2 more points. So for 2 more points, I would recommend you to focus more on read aloud. I know you've got 90 in speaking, but still try to focus more on read aloud, because read aloud, if you speak clearly, your reading score can go up. And also focus on summarize written text, on choosing the right content from the passage. Hope it helps. Thanks. Well, Utsav has commented, speaking 45, unfortunately, reading 68. That's pretty good. Listening 59, writing 73. Well, your problem is with describe image, and with repeat sentence, and with retell lecture, and with answer short questions, Utsav. A lot of problems. So just focus on speaking in the right way. I think maybe you're too fast. Maybe you're following some template. So just think whether you're using the template correctly or not, So you need to take the right pauses. If you don't pause, the score goes down. So just take the right pauses at the right places. It's very, very important. Well, Sucheta thinks, thank you. Thank you. Pleasure is all mine. Thank you. Well, Hanuman SVH has a question. Does using templates affect our marks for 79 plus? The answer to your question is, it depends. If you know how to use a template correctly, you can also get 90. If you don't know, you can also get 60. So a template can, make or mar your score very easily. So just be careful, because it's very easy to make mistakes using a template. So think and then use a template. All right? Thanks. Well, Subi has a comment. Listening is 78. Reading is 58. Speaking 71. Writing 73. You need 79 plus. What to do to improve? I'll give you a simple solution. If you're in Australia and if you're in Melbourne, just join my classes. You'll get 8 each very easily, because you're good with your English. Your English is not the problem. Very high chances your problem is with speaking, Subi. You're not speaking in the right way. So try to improve the way you speak, and definitely you'll see a jump in your speaking score, because speaking is the main problem. All right. So work a bit on your speaking. Try to be a bit more fluent and read aloud. Don't take a lot of pauses at each and every punctuation mark. Alright, just go with the flow and just be a bit louder and clearer. Try not to be too fast as well, and don't be too slow. I think you are too slow in read aloud. That's what I feel from your score. Listening is excellent. 78 is very good in listening. And writing, writing is linked to reading. So maybe you're not, you're being too quick with fill in the blanks, because reading and writing blanks do impact the writing score very significantly. So just take more time in reading and writing blanks. Also be careful in summarize written text, because summarize written text, which is a task in writing, that impacts your reading score also. Well, I got a few more comments. Rajesh asks, Ragesh, do we need to read aloud in normal speed or fast speed? The answer is normal, Ragesh. I heard your sample which you had shared on Telegram, and I did comment back as well. Your speed is fine, but your pronunciation, you have a very strong accent. I don't know where you're from, but you've got a very strong accent, because of which it's not clear, And if the words are not clear, the software obviously won't give you a high score. So just be a bit clear with the way you speak. Don't stress on the words, and try to get rid of the accent which you have. Try to speak in an accent neutral way. That's the best way of improving your score very quickly. All right, hope it helps. Thanks. Well, Johnny Raj has a comment. And before that, Fahad Aslam has written speaking 89. So I don't understand, like speaking 89. So what about the rest? Yeah, now you've commented. Yeah, listening is 81, reading is 73, writing is 76. So Fahad, please work on your read aloud. Number 1, maybe you're not reading it in the right way. That's why reading is very low. Also, you need to focus on summarize written text. Definitely there's a problem with summarize written text, the way you write summaries. And thirdly, you also need to focus on reading and writing blanks, just the reading blanks, and also on reorder paragraphs. Try to focus on these tasks, Fahad. You'll get 8 each very quickly. And if you're in Melbourne, you can definitely join the classes. We also offer a 3 weeks crash course. I think that might be enough for you, in case you're interested. Thank you. Well, Mohit has a comment. I've heard more about PTE, but I'm doing IELTS. Can IELTS study work for PTE? Can IELTS study work for PTE? No, the answer is no. Both are different tests of English. So yeah, of course, your English will improve with both the exams. I mean, depends a bit on practicing, but no, IELTS will not help for PT. For PT, you need to prepare for PT, not for IELTS. Thanks. So Johnny has a comment. Speaking is around 80 and 70, very inconsistent. Reading is also very inconsistent. Listening also 48 to 64. Writing is 57 to 73. Wow, you got all the scores. So Johnny, you really need to work on your speaking. Your main area of concern should be speaking at the moment. You need to get it sorted as quickly as possible. You're not speaking the right way, and that's where reading, listening scores are very inconsistent. Very likely you're also taking, maybe you're also making a lot of mistakes with the grammar in your writing task. So just be careful with your grammar. Very high chances in the summaries or in the essay you're making major mistakes. Also in listening blanks or maybe summarized spoken text, you are making mistakes according to me. So just try to focus on these tasks. It might be very helpful for you. All right. Well, Prathipan has a comment. Read aloud pauses. How long gap should we take? It should just be a small gap between sentences in read aloud. For example, hi, my name is Malcolm. I'm from Australia. I'm taking PT to improve my English. I hope my test goes well. Thank you. That's it. But if you say like this, hi, my name is Malcolm. I am from Australia. I am taking PT to improve my English. I really hope my test goes well. Now, even all my hoping will not help me in the test because I'm taking very long pauses between the words, and between the phrases also. So it should be small pauses. All right, thanks. Well, Gaurav Vani has a comment. Listening and writing is 82, 83. Speaking is 90. Reading is 74. Well, I think your problem is with read aloud. It could also be with summarized written text. It could also be with reorder paragraphs, very likely. So just focus on read aloud, summarize written text, fill in the blanks in reading, reorder paragraphs. These are the main tasks. And in case you're interested, I've got my PTE masterclass tomorrow. So if you're in Melbourne, Australia, you can attend it. Again, in case you're interested, it will start in the morning tomorrow at 10 o'clock and it will end around 4:30 or 5 in the evening. And the fees is $220, Gaurav. So, and yeah, the location is Melbourne CBD, 290 Collins Street, level 2. Aussies Group is the name of the location. All right. So in case you're interested, you can just walk in straight away at around 9:30 in the morning. You can pay the fees and you can attend the class. It's around 6 hours. And I think it's going to be very helpful. You should get your desired score if you attend tomorrow's class with me. Alright, so thank you all of you. It's been a very lengthy session, almost like 100 comments. So I think and I hope, I tried my best to answer all the questions. And if any question is unanswered, my apologies, but I'll go through the comments pretty soon and I'll try my best to answer them as well. The last 2 comments. Hanuman is commenting that reorder paragraphs are so confusing. Yes, sir, you're right. They are sometimes a bit confusing. Like it's difficult to find out what is the independent sentence. Well, in such cases, I would suggest just do a bit of practice of the repetitive questions and try to form the links, and once you, try to analyze few questions where you have made a mistake a lot of times, try to understand how you are thinking and try to understand the logic in the passage. Give 10-15 minutes if required. But once you understand why you are making that mistake, hopefully when the next time a similar question comes, you will not repeat that mistake. But the main thing is you need to give it time, Don't rush through reorders. Give time, take time, and then things will improve automatically. Thanks. Well, Dhruv has a comment. I think PT doesn't improve our grammar. And sir, you also need to check your spelling. The spelling of grammar, unfortunately, is not the one we have written. So please work on your spelling, Dhruv. Your question, PT don't improve our grammar. For PT, yes, we will need to improve our grammar because grammar is definitely what a software will check. So yes, you will have to work on the grammar. Even I have to work on my grammar. So grammar is very important for PT and all tests of English. So yes, grammar is important. All right, so that's about it. Well, just few last words. Tomorrow is the master class which I'll be having. It's at 290 Collins Street. And as I said at the beginning of the class, we have started a new location in Melbourne CBD itself. It's on Elizabeth Street. It's just next to the Flinders Street station. You get out of Flinders Street Station. That's the most iconic landmark, or one of the most iconic landmarks in Australia. If you've been in Melbourne, you will never miss it. As soon as you get out of the station, right on bang on the opposite side of the road, you'll see a McDonald's. It's one of the biggest McDonald's over here. And just next to McDonald's, you will see Aussie's Group. The name speaks for itself, and I teach over there. So that's a good location. So in case you're there, more than welcome to join in. We have classes from Monday to Friday, and tomorrow is my PTE master class. And this month as well, we've got a lot of students who are getting scores of 8 each, year after year, month after month, day after day, minute after minute. The only thing I think about generally is PTE, and the only thing I think about is how my students can get 8 each as quickly as possible. Even if the requirement is 6 each, why not aim for 9 each? The idea is to get 90-90, and that's why with my name I always say PT Malcolm 90-90-90-90. Think PT, always aim for 90. So thank you very much. Have a good night. See you next week. Till then, think PT, think 90.